It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, completely still, and out of nowhere your brain hands you a memory from 8 years ago. A joke that didn't land. A text you sent too fast. A sentence you said in a meeting that made someone's face change for half a second. Your chest tightens. Your face actually gets warm, right now, in the dark, for something that is already over. Why does this keep happening? Why does your brain choose the quietest, most defenseless moment of your day to replay your worst ones? Here's what you're not going to believe. This isn't a glitch. It's not your brain malfunctioning at bedtime. By the end of this, you'll understand why your mind is doing this on purpose, and why the very thing that feels like torture might actually be an ancient survival system still running long after its usefulness expired. Think about that for a second. A system built to protect you is now the reason you can't sleep. Most people assume embarrassment fades like a bruise. Time passes, it heals. But if that were true, why does a mistake from your 20s still make you wince at 40? Something is keeping that memory sharp instead of letting it soften. In the 1920s, a psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik noticed something strange while sitting in a Vienna cafe. Waiters could remember complicated, unpaid orders in perfect detail. But the second the bill was settled, the memory vanished. She took it into the lab and confirmed it. Unfinished tasks stick in memory far longer than completed ones. This became known as the Zeigarnik effect. So what does a cafe bill have to do with your most humiliating moment? Everything. Your brain treats an embarrassing memory the same way it treats an unpaid order. Unresolved. Open. Unfinished business. But why would an old joke that fell flat feel unfinished? You said it. It happened. It's over. Not to your brain. Because embarrassment isn't really about the moment itself. It's about a question your brain never got to answer. Did that damage how people see you? And your ancestors did not have the luxury of shrugging that off. For most of human history, you didn't survive alone. You survived because a group tolerated you, fed you, defended you. Being laughed at, excluded, or seen as foolish wasn't a minor social sting. It could mean losing your place in the group. And losing your place in the group, tens of thousands of years ago, could mean losing your life. So evolution built something clever, and slightly cruel. A flashbulb memory system tuned specifically to social mistakes. Vivid, detailed, hard to shut off. Not because your brain wants to hurt you. Because it wants to make absolutely sure you never make that exact mistake again. But here's where it gets stranger. If this system exists to protect your reputation, shouldn't it also tell you whether the damage actually happened? It doesn't. And that's where things start to unravel. In the early 2000s, psychologist Thomas Gilovich ran a study that should unsettle you a little. He had participants wear an embarrassing t-shirt into a room full of strangers, then asked them to estimate how many people had noticed. Their estimates were nearly double the actual number. Gilovich called it the spotlight effect. You are the main character in your own memory, so your brain assumes everyone else was watching just as closely. Almost no one was. So the moment your brain is replaying at 2 a.m. in high definition, most of the people in the room barely registered it, and have already forgotten it completely. The only audience still watching the replay is you. That still doesn't explain why it feels like actual pain. A memory shouldn't hurt. A memory has no body. In 2003, neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger scanned people's brains while they were deliberately excluded from a simple ball-tossing game. The region that lit up wasn't some abstract emotion center. It was the anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that activates when your body registers physical pain. Social rejection and physical injury share hardware in your brain. This is why an old memory of being humiliated can make your stomach drop the same way real pain does. Your brain genuinely cannot fully tell the difference. Put those three findings together and you get something uncomfortable. Your brain treats embarrassment as unfinished business, it wildly overestimates how much anyone noticed, and it processes the memory using the same circuitry as physical injury. No wonder it won't let go. It's not remembering an event. It's replaying an old wound it never confirmed had healed. Here's the twist, though. You'd expect this system to fire during the day, when you're distracted, busy, surrounded by other things to think about. Instead, it waits. It waits for silence. For darkness. For the one window when your mind has nothing else competing for its attention. The system isn't malfunctioning at night. Night is exactly when it was designed to run, back when your ancestors sat by a dying fire with nothing to do but review the day and prepare for tomorrow's group. You don't live in that world anymore. You're not one bad joke away from being cast out of a tribe with no food and no protection. But your nervous system hasn't gotten that update. It's still running 2 a.m. security checks on a threat that stopped being lethal 10,000 years ago. So tonight, when that memory surfaces again, you can recognize it for what it actually is. Not proof that you're broken. Not evidence that you're uniquely awkward. Just an old alarm system, still faithfully doing the job it was built for, protecting a version of you that no longer needs saving. It's 2 a.m. again. You're lying in bed, completely still, and your brain hands you that same old memory. This time you notice something different. It isn't trying to hurt you. It's trying to save you from a danger that disappeared long before you were even born.